on Cody's phone. Great. All right, I will call the meeting to order. Would welcome everyone. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we approve the agenda for tonight, there's one item that we need to move. We're going to pull out of the consent agenda on page 3 at the bottom and 4 at the top, number 5G7. And we're going to move that. Now that's program appointments. We're going to move it to the last page, page 5. And it will be just before good news. So that will be the after the consent agenda is over, and that will become number 6 on your agenda. Is that clear? All right, a motion please to accept the agenda. Jason and Tina? Discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Tonight, we're happy to have a presentation by a student in our elementary school. Mr. Pullen, would you like to do the introductions?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, and I'll let Christy Grace finish as well. But tonight we have Grace Crane from Miss Dawn McIntyre's 3rd grade classroom. She's a local celebrity. If you've ever shopped over at Crane's Market in the Hamlet, her mother and she make some fantastic brownies, and on occasion I've been known to polish off 3 or 4 of them with a bottle of Gatorade. So I want to thank Grace and her mom in particular for doing such a great job representing her family and representing Mrs. McIntyre's class. And Christy, if you want to piggyback on that before we let Grace speak, I'd be happy to have you do so.
Okay, yes, good evening. I would like to introduce you to Miss Grace Crane, a 3rd grader extraordinaire. If you know Grace, you know she is energetic and spunky, and she's willing to tell you exactly what she thinks. So we thought she would be a perfect spokesperson for the elementary school. She has lots to share with you this evening about her experiences this year. So without further ado, Miss Grace Crane.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Grace Crane. I'm currently a 3rd grade student at North Rose-Wolcott Elementary. I am in Miss McIntyre and Miss Gropp's classroom. I have 3 older brothers. I love to explore different things. When I grow up, I want to be paleontologist because I really like dinosaurs. My favorite subject in school is math. We are just learning about multiplication. My brother Evan taught me 7 times 3 equals 21 when I was only 3 years old. This year has been different, but I really like my classroom that is on the 2nd floor. We have cool new spaces like the sensory pathway and get to go outside for playtime. I love that we have quiet time each day. I am more of a quiet time person. My teachers are great and I really nice. Miss McIntyre, Miss Gropp, and Miss Reynolds all help me when I need it. Miss McIntyre lets me sit at her desk sometimes during writing. She helps me with words. My favorite part of school is telling stories and having fun with my friends. I really like our school and I'm happy that I get to see my teachers outside of school too. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's lovely. We're so glad you're having a good year and that you like your teacher. And I couldn't help but notice your teacher's face while you were talking. She's very proud of you, that's for certain. Yes,
Thank
and
you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Very proud of you, Grace. Great job.
Math is your favorite subject? Is math your favorite subject?
Yeah, I really like math.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. And you're getting lots of exercise going up and down those stairs.
Yeah.
Right. That's grand. Any board members, anyone else want to? Jason?
Grace, what's your favorite dinosaur? I like dinosaurs too.
I like raptors.
Can never go wrong with a raptor. Keep up the good work.
Great. Linda?
I really liked Grace's enthusiasm, and boy, my ears had to be tuned in because she was going right along at a quick pace to get everything in. Good job, Grace.
Thank you.
Yes. You know. Well, Grace, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. We're super glad you're having a good year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you are a bright spot in your teacher's day.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Bye.
Bye.
That's kind of a hard act to follow. Mark Matthews, are you able to take on the role of following Grace with a Leavenworth School presentation or report?
Mr. Matthews just texted me and stated that his computer is not working for him. So we
Okay,
may need Brady to take the lead on this one.
I'm looking for Brady. There's Brady.
Okay.
All right. You're on.
All right.
I think
Oh,
I'm
go.
here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Whew, this thing had me sweating trying to get in here. Okay. Okay, so, well, first of all, I just want to, say thank you to my team and introduce them. We have Sarah Bogard, our school psychologist, Sarah Oshker, our instructional coach. We have Tara Daly, our art teacher, and Casey DeWitt-Belier, one of our superstar teachers. I just want to say thank you for all their commitment. We're really trying to pull together and come together for the first time in a while. And I want to thank my SLT for their leadership. We are transitioning back into a single build, and we're sort of rebuilding all the things that made us successful when we were all together before the capital project and the split up and everything. And really working hard to move forward in a positive direction. And so I just want to say welcome and thank you very much for being an audience for our presentation today. Our goals are always in line with our district mission and vision statement. We
Mr.
really want
Matthews.
to build. Yes, sir.
Do you have the presentation? I was not able to share it there for a second. I was not having luck.
Oh, so you tried to share it? Excuse me. Excuse me one moment.
Tina, you have it from last week, correct?
I don't have on my desktop. Let me see if I can get it.
Okay, so why don't you look for that while Mark looks for it as well?
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
Mr. Matthews has it.
My apologies, folks. coming in very slow here. Here we go. We're really trying to build pride. We were really trying to prepare our students for whatever future they choose. I was saying to the students today in town hall that we want all our teachers and staff, we want the students to live a happy life. And happiness oftentimes comes from being able to make choices. And we see education as opportunity to earn the right and the ability to make choices in life. And we think of all our students. At the same time, we think of each individual student and trying to maximize each and every student's potential.
Can jump in here. I'm Sarah Bogard. I'm the middle school psychologist. Gracie, if you're still on, you did a great job. So for our goal this year for partnerships, the goal is just that we will create more opportunities for two-way communication between families and middle school staff. So prior to the start of the school year, we opened up the middle school building to the community to see the renovations. And we invited our National Junior Honor Society students to come in and serve as tour guides. And they were able to help answer questions about the new building and provide a tour for people to see all the renovations. Middle school staff has found really great success using the parent square as our first form of communication with families. As of about a week ago, we had over 4,000 direct messages between parents, families, and staff. And we also had over 140 informational posts that were sent out to families. Back in September, we invited families in for the open house and we had strong attendance. We had outside agencies here as well to talk about what they could offer. And then in October, we had over 75 families sign in for the parent-teacher conferences. We also offered additional conferences via Zoom and over the phone for those who were unable to attend. And then during that time, we offered families assistance signing up for different services that we have within the district. So we were able to help 15 families sign up for Parent Square. We were able to sign up 12 families for Cougar Cupboard support. We were able to help 4 families with the parent portal support. We were also able to sign up 52 kids for the LIFT program. And then we had 18 families request volunteer forms and we helped them fill those out. We are also creating a monthly newsletter that will provide families with important updates and information about events and dates that are happening within each month. And then during our monthly grade level team meetings, staff is collaborating together to send home positive postcards to the students in that grade level that are meeting and exceeding those Cougar expectations that we're working on this year. And that's all for partnerships.
I think we're getting some technical glitches. So whoever's next in the presentation, if you could just pick up your piece and kind of go on, you know.
Yep. My name is Tara Daly. I am one of the 2 art teachers at the middle school. Our annual goal for equity is we will make high quality education accessible to all students through the MTSS process. This year, we kicked off the year with a school-wide writing assessment in grades 5 through 8, and we scored the writing samples with the same rubric. Using a rubric to score these writing assessments made the grading equitable by keeping consistency in scoring among the grade levels, but while still allowing for individual differences among the responses. Our highly trained educators are continuing to participate in professional development. This year alone, our staff has participated in the Foundations of Equity training through Wayne Finger Lakes BOCES, and we spent quality time during our staff development day, working on common formative assessments, updating our curriculum maps, and participating in collaborative classroom training. We also had crucial time built into the day where staff members could meet and collaborate with their grade level teams or their vertical departments to apply the skills they learned in their morning sessions. I know personally, I attended our check-in, check-out training hosted by our school psychologist, Sarah, which is one of the interventions offered in our MTSS process. Teachers are utilizing their weekly Tier 1 meeting times to work on goals for behavior and academics among their cohorts. Remembering that fare isn't always equal, staff members are working hard to meet the academic and behavioral needs of their students through interventions and the MTSS process. We are also extremely excited for all of the students now to have access to the complete collection of books in our newly renovated middle school media center. Most of our collection was in storage for the past few years, and then the rest was split among 2 buildings. So the resources that the media center offers were severely underutilized. And in September alone, we were so excited to know that 791 books were checked out. We just thought that was a really great number to share. And that's all for equity.
Hi, I'm Sarah Oshker, and I'm the middle school instructional coach. And I'm also part of our new SEL network team. Our annual goal for SEL is that we teach and learn Cougar Pride traits and implement SEL activities to create a safe space for students and staff to develop relationships. To work towards this goal, we had 4 days of SEL activities to kick off the new school year. We've also created Cougar expectation posters for teachers to refer back to in the classroom and revisit the same expectations. Advisories are implementing community circles and morning meetings to help create a classroom community and a safe space for students where everyone feels like their voice is heard and valued. We have been using the Panorama survey data to develop school-wide social and emotional interventions and activities. And then students are also starting check-in and check-out with their chosen trusted adults. We are focusing on the function-based thinking model to analyze student behaviors and provide interventions. The Second Step program and life skills program are being implemented in the classrooms. And finally, in the beginning of the year, we had Sweethearts and Heroes present on bullying, and they also ran circles with our students.
So now we're going to look at some data. So if we look at the first 2 columns, this was our AIMS-Web benchmark from fall and spring of last year. So as you see, our trend was not something that we really were pleased with. We actually tended to regress in mostly all the categories. And that could be for a variety of reasons. We had students that were homeschooled. We had students that were doing the hybrid model. We had students that were 100% virtual. We also had less students take it in the spring based on the fluctuation in the mode of learning that they were receiving. So that was something that we really wanted to try to address this year. Coming in, our AIMS-Web responses, our AIMS-Web results for the fall, we actually saw some improvement. So if you look at 5th and 6th grade for reading, going across the cohort, we actually saw that they did make some what we would consider gap eliminating growth over that last year. And that group uses the collaborative classroom curriculum. So I know that the elementary showed similar results. So that was something exciting for us. And we also saw that at the 7th grade level for math, they ended up jumping to our now 8th graders. Our goal is always going to be that 90% of our students are at proficiency, and of that, 30% will be at the mastery level.
Hi, Casey Spalier, 5th grade teacher. So to meet these goals, fall AIMS-Web data is being used to form intervention groups that target students who fall below and well below average. In addition, we are beginning to use progress monitoring as needed to track individual growth and to document how students are responding to instructional changes and interventions. This data is also being used to help make instructional decisions within the classroom at the Tier 1 level. The collaborative classroom program is being implemented at grades 5 and 6. This will be our second year using this program, and we are working as grade level teams to ensure that we are using all that the program has to offer with a focus on the assessment tools. On our October 8th conference day, teachers in grades 5 and 6 participated in a professional development that focused on assessment. Teachers are using these tools to track student progress and growth. Tara touched on this in her slide about equity, but all students did complete a beginning of the year writing assessment. These were analyzed, and students that need additional support have been identified. An intervention teacher is pushing into writing classes at grades 5 and 6 and into social studies classes at grades 7 and 8. This has allowed us to target students in need of additional support. And lastly, Tier 1 meetings at each grade level are occurring weekly. Teachers at grades 5 and 6 are using this time to look at common assessments and co-plan units, lessons, and activities. And at grades 7 and 8, teachers have cross-curricular conversations, and they're working together as teams to discuss student progress and growth.
And you can probably tell there's been a great improvement to this presentation, the fact that you can't see my face. But I'm here. For our finance goals, we're looking to work directly with our department chairs and make sure that our resources, all the decisions that we make in using the funds that are provided for our students are done with our goals, our mission, and our vision in mind. We have, alongside similar to the elementary school, we've created a central storage where we've seen many of our teachers coming and using those materials and supplies. And we've already begun the process of reviewing our budget allocations. We're going to engage in a conversation with our staff, and we're going to make adjustments based on what our students need. So in a nutshell, this is our presentation. And once again, I want to thank my team for all their support and their leadership this school year. I wanted to see if there were, we wanted to see if there were any questions.
Mark, when the students are taking these assessments, do all the students at a grade level take the assessment? You know, in the high school, sometimes the kids who are in AP courses don't take the assessments. That isn't true in the middle school, is it?
Thanks for that question. So all of our students take the Ames web assessments at each level. They also all take the New York State ELA math and science assessments at grades 4 and 8, 5 and 8 coming.
Do you have students in accelerated programs?
Yes, we do. So we have a section of algebra students at 8th grade and another section of living environment. We also are offering much more opportunity to our 8th graders to earn high school credits towards graduation by offering studio and art to the majority of our 8th graders. We're excited to see that they may, with the addition of proficiency Spanish, some of them will be going into high school with 4 credits. So we're very excited that we can offer that to our students.
Mm-hmm. But the accelerated students are still included in the assessments.
I understand that the accelerated students are included in the Ames web assessments. For the 8th grade algebra students, they don't take the New York State assessment. That's the only group that doesn't take the New York State assessment, because they'll be taking the Regents.
Okay. I'm not, because I don't have everybody's picture up on my screen. If any board members have questions, jump in.
This is Paul. I had one question. I think it was Sarah that was talking about SEL. And, but Mark, my question is about how many students do we have on the check-in, check-out process?
So we'll have, I'm gonna say around 50 to 60.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Anyone else?
Is John here? I don't know if he can. Aha, now we can see each other again.
Yeah.
I like the idea a great deal from past experience of having the family kind of community approach in middle school. It's that age group is just right for that kind of environment. They thrive under that, I believe. I think it's also very important that the postcards go home and the parents are involved in the parent square. The newsletter, I think, would be critical as well. And I wondered if we could be part of that mailing list as board members.
Oh, most certainly. Well, we could definitely do that. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, certainly.
Another question, and it's not on your list there, but the students and faculty have been apart for several years now. I mean, more than several. How is that evolving after now it's November? I don't imagine it's going to be a perfect situation yet, but the faculty is going to have to get used to each other and the kids have to get used to each other. New environments, new expectations. How's that going?
Well, I think just like you said, John, you're right. We have a lot of newness. So what we're doing is we're coming back to the things that bind us together. One of the things that bind us together, of course, would be our mission and our vision statements. But we also lean on the code of conduct. And we are committed to sort of getting to know each other again. We did some circles at our faculty meeting in October, and I got some positive feedback from that. People expressed that they had an opportunity to reconnect with some people that they hadn't in quite a long time. And so I think as we're going through this sort of new normal for us, the tendency for us is to rely and to lean on those things that bind us together as a district. Our school improvement plan is going to play a major role, but we also, like I'm sure you saw during the presentation, we have some fantastic staff who can help us move forward together.
I agree. I think the plan has a lot in it, said simply and efficiently, but there's a lot in there. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mark?
Yes.
The others pretty touched on all the important points, I would say, but I've been wondering one thing over the last few weeks. Has the new bus loop helped with congestion any in that parking lot? Has it made pickups and drop-offs a little easier?
Boy, that is a great question. I think that has made a significant improvement. You know, when we were first trying to figure out, when you're first trying to do anything, you're wondering how to make it work. I think that, just based on the first couple months of school, it's significantly safer for students at dismissal time. And I think there is a much more steady traffic flow. I think I'm really glad you asked that. I hadn't really stopped to think about it, but going back, 3 years already or whatever, it was pretty congested. I was pretty nervous at arrival and dismissal in the morning, especially during these dark months.
Yeah.
But I would have to say there's no question there's an improvement to arrival and dismissal in terms of safety and efficiency.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes.
I enjoyed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Well, thank you very much, middle school people.
Thank you for your patience with the technology issues, even though I'm pretty sure everybody would agree it's better when you can't see my camera. So,
Well, if you're talking to the wrong people. If you're as with the board, if you're expecting to have people who know about technology, because most of us board members don't have a clue.
okay, thank you.
Tina takes care of us, and if she didn't, we'd be lost.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, and good night to you. We'll move on to building liaisons. Did we lose Izetta? There's Izetta. Izetta, do you have something from the elementary school? I think you're muted. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it took me a minute.
All right.
Yes, I do. I was a little late getting to Mrs. Graves this week, but she did get back to me, and I appreciate that. And she wanted to say that they had accepted yesterday 70 brand new pair of sneakers from the Reliant Credit Union.
Nice.
And they had contacted multiple families to come in so they could pick out their new shoes. And that the contact person for that, if anyone needed it, is Kathy Gresco, and the distribution is going through the counseling, the school counselors. She also wanted to say Wednesday, the children are celebrating Veterans Day, and there's going to be a drive-through breakfast for the veterans if they would like to participate. And it will be followed by a student assembly that will be shared via social media for Veterans Day. And lastly, she wanted to welcome the new staff that they've had in the last couple of weeks. One is my former neighbor, Mrs. Elizabeth Decker. She is the nurse. And the other one is my great-granddaughter's teacher, Mrs. Laura Abbott. And I understand she's fantastic. I get that from the classroom. And that was what Mrs. Graves wanted to submit to the board, have the board become aware of today. So thank you.
Thank you, Izetta. And let me see. John, do you have a report from the middle school?
Yes, tomorrow they're going to be celebrating Veterans Day because Veterans Day is the day off from school. So they're having an assembly at 1:30, and my nephew Seth Burgess, who is a major in the Army Reserves, will be there to speak or do whatever they have in mind there. And I also, it's kind of an informal type thing, but my travels around Draper Street and New Hartford Street, it was good to see a classroom of students using the front lawn, and in the back on Draper Street, a phys ed class outside doing whatever they were doing. To hear the noise and the sound of students again in those areas, compared to the old Leavenworth Institute, students were not allowed at the front of the building, which I never did understand, but we were not allowed there to mess up the sidewalk on the lawns. But it was good to see the whole place being used and those student sounds there. That's all.
Great, thank you, Jen. And Linda, do you have something from the high school?
Yes, I did get a chance to meet with both Scott and Jason. It was a very pleasant meeting, and we had great conversation. Students, of course, are continuing to adjust to being back in school and seeing friends, and so that's a very positive thing. And sometimes, it's tough for some students more than others. One thing that's come back into place at the high school that used to be at the very beginning of the day is forum, but forum is held after first period. And that's really a great opportunity for the whole student body to get together and feel as a school community. So I was really pleased to hear about that. Also, the Alternative Learning Center now has 80 students that are there working to complete credit for their classes, which really is a great thing to hear about at the high school as well. So I look forward to reporting more in the future.
Great. Okay, thank you. While you're unmuted, Linda, do you have anything from Fork County you want to share?
Actually, I don't have any updates. I know that some board members have submitted information through the survey. And I know that Fork County is going to continue to work on propositions that they feel are important for school districts and students. So as soon as I know more about that, I will be getting back to you.
Okay, thank you. The handbook committee, and that is Tina Reed and Paul Statsky and myself. We're still working, going through it word by word, and clarifying things, throwing things out, putting things in. And as soon as we have it in a form that's ready for you board members, we'll be bringing that to you to go through and either change or ask us to go back to the drawing board or whatever. So that's coming along. And I know the policy committee is meeting with Paul. You're the chairperson of that. You have anything to report from policy?
We've met twice and we'll meet again this Friday. We have 2 policies which really needed to be updated and 4 new ones from Mary Bosse's and a couple that we've reviewed that actually we think need nothing. But we'll be bringing those to you in December, and a couple of them are really big, so we're not going to overwhelm you. We'll give you a bite-sized amount and keep pressing on.
All right, great. Sounds good. That is the end of reports and correspondence. Public access to the board is next. Tina, has anyone asked to speak with the board tonight?
No, I did not have anyone contact me.
All right, thank you. We move to the consent agenda. I remind you that number G7 was pulled out. So a motion to approve the consent agenda, please. Paul and John, discussion, questions? All right, all in favor of approving the consent agenda? Motion is carried. We move on now to page 5 of our agenda. And this is the program and program appointments that we took out of the consent agenda. We took that, we removed that for your information because Autumn Egner is related to Linda Egner, the board member. And so Linda will be abstaining on this one. So a motion, please, to put the resolution on program and appointments from 3 and 4. Oh, let me find it. Hold on one sec. Page 3. The resolution appointing the staff to those appointments. Motion, please. Izetta and John. I guess, and you're going to abstain, right, Linda? All right. So all in favor? All opposed? And abstentions? The motion is carried. We come now to the part we enjoy very much, the good news. We like to hear good news about our kids and our staff. Does anyone have good news to share? Paul?
Yeah, several items. It was mentioned already that the elementary school and the middle school have Veterans Day assemblies tomorrow. Also, I would mention the high school does.
Mhm.
Got a couple of great photos to share. Our Clayton Reed has been a highlight for the cross country the whole season. Boys soccer in the Lakeshore News.
Paul, perhaps you're muted. I'm not hearing you.
My apologies. Did you hear anything?
Yes, up through the soccer.
Oh, okay. I know what happened. So 12th grade student of the month, Marin Luperfido. Now I'm going to attempt to update on athletics. This may or may not work. Okay, boys soccer, a strong finish to the season. It was a winning season, by the way, and won their first sectional game against Wellsville. But and I've talked to a couple of the soccer players. Tough loss in the second game against Penn 1-0. Girls soccer finished strong, went to the sectionals. Another 1-0 loss, but we're having good seasons. Cross country strong finishes again. Clayton Reed. Boys volleyball really had a good season. Ended with a strong with Kayushka, I think it was, but a good season all the way around. Girls volleyball again got to the sectionals, lost in the first round. So I'm sure Mark is anxious to move us past that first round. Girls tennis, the same tough match. DeSoto's Lee Bundy has had especially a good showing. Winter sports is starting, believe it or not, on the 15th of the month. And we also had several student athletes in the National Honor Society ceremony the other night. So all good from the athletic department. And that's it for my good news.
Okay. I thank you for mentioning the National Honor Society. It was a pleasure to see those students being inducted into the National Honor Society. And I thank Linda and Paul for being there, and I was there as well. I also want to say it was good news. It was great fun to take part of the trunk or treat there at Marshall Park. Tina Reed, we thank you for organizing that whole thing for the board. And Linda was there in another capacity, but she was at the event. And Izetta and Paul and myself were also there having fun with the kids. At one point, Tina said, "Isn't it just great to see everybody out with their parents and their families, all having a good time?" Everybody was happy and smiling and running around, and it was really a joy. It was a joy to get back to that joyous time. It was great. So thank you for organizing that, Tina. And now, does anyone else have anything they want to add? Then, Michael, we'll turn it over to you for your update.
So can you see my screen okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So my presentation is going to be a little redundant but I don't think it's ever a bad thing when you share all the great accomplishments of our student and staff. So last week, as you heard, 13 new student inductees were honored and recognized by National Honor Society. And I think it's this in particular, it's exciting to see that those students were able to invite 10 staff members who were able to make it and attend to be recognized by these students. So my hope is, and I know Mr. Bradley and Mr. Shetler are continuing to tweak their process, that our ceremonies continue to be more and more formal, and they start to see the significance of being recognized into such a prestigious organization as National Honor Society. So those student members, truly a great representation of the North Rose-Wolcott community. Really pleased with the staff that were there. I had to watch from the back of the room because I didn't want my coughing to interrupt the induction. But I think it was a really special event, really appreciative of that. And it's a nice segue into Mark Matthews and his building that they will be recognizing and honoring National Junior Honor Society inductees. And that will happen next Tuesday on the 16th of November. So really a lot to be celebrating during the month of November. So as Mr. Statsky said, winter sports kick off on November 15th. So we're excited to see the number of students who participate in those interscholastic competitions and what they're going to be able to do to recognize our students and showcase our school district, whether it's in the pool, on the court, or on the mat. You know, we're excited about that. And I know our indoor track participants are really looking forward to having some healthy competitions where they don't have to spend so much time on a bus traveling from meet to meet. And, you know, what we talked about a little bit earlier, the end of the quarter, believe it or not, this Friday marks the end of the first quarter. So the first 10 weeks of school have absolutely flown by. There's a lot of things that have been happening. A lot of stuff to go back and recognize. And moving forward, one of the things that I really want to draw attention to, and you heard this in the middle school presentation about the social emotional learning activities that have been present throughout our academic year. You know, we spent a lot of time kicking off and spending a lot of attention on the social and emotional well-being of our students and our staff. And, you know, our district network team has really gone out and done a fine job of representing a wonderful group of activities and ideas that we were able to share, not just with our community, but also at the regional level through their participation in a BOCES workshop. And that work's actually going to continue. So we want to kind of highlight that work that's coming up in the near future. One of the things that our high school staff will be doing, and I think it'll go by building to building, is 4U Fridays. And that's focused really on staff wellness. The first one of those actual staff wellness events will take place on Friday the 19th. So for those of you who have ever been around a school setting, you know the times right before the holiday tend to be the busiest and the most emotionally taxing for a variety of reasons, because you run the gamut of emotions prior to those holiday breaks. So they're not only doing the 4U Fridays, but they're also, each of the respective buildings is planning a winter SEL day activity for our students, just to keep that theme going and remind them that we're paying close attention to their well-being. Also, you heard Mr. Statsky and several of the board liaisons mention a thank you to our veterans. Each of those buildings will be recognizing our local veterans in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a drive-through breakfast, an assembly that's presented to our student body from local veterans. That's something that we take great pride in. And I do want to give special recognition to Mr. Statsky and say thank you, not only for his service as a board member, but also as a veteran. And I'd like to extend that thank you to all the veterans that are represented in the North Rose-Wolcott community. Really appreciate their service to our country. Lastly, I just want to go back. I'm sorry for my finger there, getting too far ahead. you know, as you heard during last month's board presentation, we are putting a new capital project out to our community. We do have a community date slated for December 6th at 6 p.m. We will be presenting to a large group of audience members comprised of many of the local organizations and any community member who wants to come forth and hear part of that presentation to talk about what the next project entails. It is Wednesday, December 6th, as I said, and that's to
December 1.
highlight the program that we'll be voting on December 16th.
Michael, December 1.
December, what did I say?
6.
Oh, I'm sorry, December 1st at 6 p.m. I apologize. And that's the community presentation, and the vote is actually on the 16th. And that'll be taking place in the high school lobby. So my apologies. Thank you for pointing that out. And as you see, that's representation of one of the flyers that will be going out to the community, just to let them know it's on the website. That's when we're presenting. And then we will be putting out the Capitol newsletter coming up in the near future. And that's it for my portion.
All right, thank you. The next part of our agenda, we added a comments and discussion to the board member requests, so that this is a time when board members can share things that with other board members, or even bring requests of things they'd like the board to perhaps take a look at or discuss or to look into. I'm going to start out. I have 3 things. First of all, board members, this is information for you. There's going to be a change in one of the board standing committees. Negotiations will now have, these will be the members of the standing committee negotiations. Tina Reed, chairperson, Linda Egner, and myself will be on that committee. So you may, if you have that written somewhere, you may want to make that change. I want to secondly remind you that coming up is a 4-county membership meeting. It's dealing with strategic planning for districts. I think we're in good shape there. But if you're interested in going, the new director is going to be speaking that evening. And it's either in person or by Zoom. And if you do want to attend, there is a dinner that you can sign up for. It's at the BOCES Center, Conference Center in New York. But there is a dinner, so you need to let Tina know so she can sign people up. And the third thing is I just wanted to reiterate the events that were going on in the district for Veterans Day. And board members, you're all invited to those. You can attend one or all or some or whatever. But if you're going to go, I think it would be most polite to let maybe Tina know, and she can pass the word along that you're planning to attend one of those, so they can be looking for you. We want to make sure you get in the buildings. So those were my points. Does anyone, other board members, have anything that they want to share with other board members? Jason?
I just had 2 quick things, and to thank you. One, I spent some time after our last meeting going through the capital project overview, and I just wanted to thank our entire administrative team that took part in that, along with anyone else that did. It's really focused on asset preservation from beginning to end. I know there's not a lot of exciting things in there, But for the longevity of our school district, it was nice to be able to see that they just hunkered down and identified the areas that could be problems in the future. So that was really nice. And the second thing was, I just urge, once again, all of our members and anyone listening to reach out to your town supervisor and voice your opinion on the redistribution of sales tax that is allotted to school districts and municipalities in the area. Wayne County is one of only 2 or 3 within the state that does that redistribution. And every so often they'll discuss on whether they're going to continue it or not. It's very important to us and our students. So I urge everyone just to look into that, and if they feel it's appropriate, to reach out to their elected officials and give them their opinions.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Yes, and I think not only the sales tax, but I think the capital project, you did very well in explaining what that is for. It's not for anything, new buildings or anything of that. It's to maintain what we have and make the necessary upgrades that need and have to be done.
better to
And I
spend
know
it
the
now.
board is entirely behind that.
100%. It's just nice to know that in the long run, it's going to save us money.
Right, absolutely. Anyone else? All right, then at this time, the board is going to be going into executive session. In a moment, I'll be asking for a motion to do that, but I do want to let everyone know that we will not be returning to do any business. We will return to adjourn, and that's it. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to discuss the employment history of a specific employee, Tina and Izetta. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. So we will be moving into executive session. Tina will be giving you instructions, and I'll say good night to you who are leaving now. Thank you for being with us.